All right, so on this one we are converting rectangular and polar coordinates. So we're going to change them from one to the other. And basically you need to know the formulas that you need to use. So for converting rectangular and polar coordinates, if I am given 6, 2 pi over 3, remember this is your r and this is your theta. So the formula for changing this would be a polar, because we've got an angle and we've got the r. We want to change it to rectangular. X is going to be equal to r cosine theta, and y is equal to r times sine theta. So you just plug in what you are given. So r is going to be 6 cosine of 2 pi over 3, and our y is going to be 6 times sine of 2 pi over 3. Well, this is 6, and cosine of 2 pi over 3 is going to get us negative 1/2. 6 times negative 1/2 will get us negative 3. So that's what our x value is. Our y value is going to be 6 times the sine of 2 pi over 3, which is the square root of 3 over 2. Well, 6 divided by 2 will get me 3 square roots of 3. So there's my y. I make it into a point, my x and my y, and this would be your final answer. That's converting the polar to rectangular. Now we're going to take rectangular and convert it to polar. So we're going to kind of go a little bit similar. So we've got 3 square roots of 3, negative 3. So remember, this is going to be your xy. And this time we are looking for the r and the theta. So our r squared is equal to x squared plus y squared, and tangent theta is equal to y over x. So r squared is going to be equal to 3 square roots of 3 squared plus negative 3 squared. So 3 squared would get us 9. Square root of 3 squared will get us 3. And then negative 3 squared gets us 9 again. So r squared will be equal to 9 times 3 is 27 plus 9. So r squared is equal to 36. Taking the square root of both sides, we get r is equal to 6. Now we need to go find our tangent, theta. So our tangent theta is equal to our y, which is negative 3, over 3 square roots of 3. Well, the 3's will cancel out. We end up with a negative 1 over the square root of 3. Now we can rationalize this, but this helps us see what we're trying to look for. We're looking for a theta that is actually equal. When we find the tangent, we get 1 over the square root of 3. That tells me I'm going to have a 1/2 on top and the square root of 3 over 2 on the bottom, because when we multiply by the reciprocal, we end up with 1 over the square root of 3. So that tells me I'm going to get a pi over 6. So I know that theta is going to be equal to pi over 6, because that's where my sine value would be 1/2, and my cosine value would be the square root of 3 over 2. Now, I have to figure out which pi over 6 is it. Well, if we go back over here to our point, we have a positive x and a negative y. And where do we find that? That's going to be in quadrant 4. So with quadrant 4, that tells me my pi value is going to be 11 pi over 6. So if I'm looking to find my r theta, I'm going to have 6 and 11 pi over 6. And that would be my point. So go back to your original to figure out your quadrant so you know which pi over 6 you're dealing with.